Hello all, I am William S. Jagetz, founding principal with Family Financial Management Practice, a wealth management firm focused in areas of tax planning and estate planning. Here on the Collector's Life YouTube channel, we talk about issues around legacy planning for art collectors and artists. And today we are going to talk about selling art. Not for artists, not for galleries or dealers, but for actual collectors. If you're an art collector, you will possibly at some point want to sell something from your collection. It is not straightforward. So there's a lot to know, and we're going to talk about some of it here today. I do want first to point out this lovely piece by artist Richard Gaines. It is a sculpture in his headgear series, and I'm going to put a link in the description so you can get a closer look at that and some more of his work. He's really good at what he's doing. This is titled Headgear number 13. Selling art, the reason I want to talk about this, a lot of the questions I get are about the art market and art as an asset class. We talked about that in the last video, I think, and just the art as a wealth building tool and just the financials around art. One, I'm in wealth management, so of course those are the questions I'm going to get. And two, you pay for it, so there's definitely a financial element to it. There are buyers and sellers, which constitutes a marketplace. So as much as I'd like to think that art is beyond the grasp of dirty commerce, it doesn't. So, how do you sell art when it's time to do so? When you're ready to sell a piece of art, it's not as obvious as it would seem, because the art market is nebulous. There is no single place where buyers and sellers commune and prices are transparent and it's easy to just transfer interest. So, how does that happen? Well, the easiest way for that to happen would be a one-to-one transaction. I have a piece of art and you would like to buy that piece of art, and I'm willing to part with it, and we come up with a price between us, and I hand it over to you. The amount of serendipity required to make that transaction viable is a lot. But if it happens that way, then yeah, you lucked up and definitely do it, because everything else we're going to talk about today has significant cost. Through a gallery is a good idea. Theoretically, you have a relationship with the gallery. If you can sell a piece of art to or through the gallery from which you acquired it, well, they know the artist. They know who the other collectors are that are going to be interested in that artist. They know what they've sold and to whom they sold it, so they know what the prices are going to be. Related to that sale are going to reflect the difficulties in getting that done. So, once you have decided, met with your gallerist, and they say, yes, I will help you to sell it, they will either buy it outright, which means they will pay you for it, and then they will sell it on to some other collector, or they will consign it. Which of those is better for the collector? For you, I think it's going to depend circumstantially. I think you're going to get more money potentially for a consignment, but an outright sale is fast money. That's your consideration. If they buy it from you, they will buy it at a discount, knowing that they have to resell it at a profit. If they consign it, then they will put it in the gallery. It may be on display, it may be in their storage, and they will make their clients aware that they have this piece for sale. You can remain anonymous as a collector if you choose to do so. And when they find a buyer, they will sell it. take their fee, pass the remainder on to you. The fee is the critical part. This is an unregulated space, so the fees are largely negotiable depending on the gallery, though. They may be pretty tightly locked in on what they want to charge. Again, these are conversations you're going to have with a person because this is not a regulated and static marketplace. So selling through a gallery, great idea because the relationships exist already. If you have a piece of art that you acquired, it's not difficult to research a gallery that is familiar with that artist and sells their work, and there's opportunity there. Due diligence, make sure you're working with people who are trustworthy, and you can have that transaction happen through a gallery even if you don't have a previous relationship with them, because like I said, they know who the collectors are and they know what the prices are supposed to be. Like published pricing that's extremely reliable in the art market. A specific work of art, and there's going to be a price that somebody wants to sell it for, and that price is published, but most of the time it's negotiable. You call them up and you can come up with a price that makes sense. Those prices don't necessarily carry over. So if I'm looking for a, I don't know, Betty Saar, and I look online, I see, all right, Betty Saar auctioned at X price in November of 2022, whatever. And then I say, okay, that's the price for the Betty Saar because that's the most recent auction information, and it was a reputable house. It was, Bonhams, it was Swan, it was Christie, whoever. Even though that is a published price, it has no bearing on whether or not I'll be able to get that price. It's a starting point for negotiation. You're not doing this. The gallerist is doing this. So that's all going to factor into how the gallery's fee structure works, because that's the work that they have to do. But back to the point where we started, pricing is a concern, and it's why you want to work with a gallery, people who know what they're doing. Now, very much like a gallery, but not exactly, is a dealer. So you work with an art dealer, you have a dealer with whom you work, and you got a piece from them or you got a piece from somebody else, but they're familiar with the artist in the marketplace. So you go to your dealer and say, I'd like to be rid of this piece or these pieces. Can you help me? They will say yes. And after that, it's pretty much a lot like working through a gallery. Your dealer is less likely to buy the piece from you outright, but not completely unlikely to buy the piece outright. A lot of dealers can and will do so because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to do it. You'll get less money, but if you need the money, you'll take it. But the other thing to remember with a dealer is a lot of times dealers don't have galleries. They're operating without a storefront, as it were. So if they do consign a piece from you, you're still housing it. Now, if it might still be on your wall in your sitting room, which is fine. If you're storing it, it's going to be there in storage until they find a buyer for it. For that reason, it's important that you have very high quality images that the dealer can use, and very detailed descriptions of the piece that your dealer can use to facilitate a transaction. So you reach out to your dealer says, yes, I can move it. They don't know a collector offhand, so they reach out to another dealer who calls some appraiser, who calls some gallery, and they're all friendly, but it's a business. Neither the seller nor the buyer gets all the details of that. The transaction costs are the transaction costs. So if you're selling, it's ultimately going to come down to, you're going to get $8,000, $10,000, $22,000 for this piece, and you'll like the price, so you won't. The buyer probably paid $30,000, and honestly, if you like the 22, what difference does it make? But it's still information that you should have, because that is a cost of selling art. And in none of this is there any guarantee that there's going to be a buyer at your price point. Next thing we're going to talk about is auctions. So auctions are fun and auctions are exciting and sexy, but they are also expensive. In fact, probably more expensive than selling through a gallery or through your dealer. With an art auction, there is a seller's premium. So the seller is paying anywhere from 10 to 20% of the price, as it were. And the buyer also pays a premium, which is somewhere between 15 and 30%. 25 is what I've seen most recently to be the going rate for the buyer's premium. And then you're also going to pay for marketing. So when there's an auction, there is a published catalog. You've all seen an auction catalog that costs. There's research because they want to make sure that these pieces are authentic and they want to set the prices right. So there's a lot of research to be done, and people conduct that research. So that engages a good amount of cost, and the seller pays all of that. There's shipping, there's packaging, all of that, and this is on top of the seller's premium, which is going to be that 10 to 20%. To review, bottom line, selling art is neither cheap nor easy or fast. If you have to sell art, then yeah, there's ways to do it. There's no guarantee that you are going to get a sale at the price you like, and there's no guarantee that it's going to sell at all. So you might end up holding for much longer than you anticipate. Keep that in mind. If you're buying art with the thought, oh, this is going to go up in value and I'm going to reap some financial reward, yeah, that's very possible. It's not cheap, and it's not easy, and it's not fast. Another thing you want to keep in mind, when you are selling art, you want to make it as easy as possible for the buyer, no matter which avenue you use. So you want to have good images. You want to have all the paperwork in place. You want to have appraisals. You want to have certificates of authentication. You want to have the provenance documents. You want to indicate, where it's been if your art traveled. Potentially have an impact on the value. You want all that information, and a good way to keep track of that is Artwork Archive. They are our affiliate partner, and I use it, and I recommend it to all of my clients. Most of them use it, who are art collectors, and I think you should use it, because all the stuff we just talked about is right there. You can make all that public. You can send a link to whomever, and they can have all the information you want them to on any artwork or all the artwork in your collection. You can specify works that are available to curators. You can specify works that are available to for sale, and all the information that they need is right there, and they can only see what you want them to see. It's very easy. Keep that information where you need it. You send a link, and the relevant people have what they need to do business with you. So, Artwork Archive, give that a look. Of course, there's a link in the description. I cannot leave out online interactions. Pretty much the same thing for an online platform, an online auction. All the things we talked about still apply. Now, clearly you have access to a broader audience because the internet goes everywhere. But there's fees, there's pricing, there's documentation, all that stuff still has to be in place. So, in a lot of ways, it is easier to work online or with an online auction or an online listing platform. But the functions are still the same. Most of that doesn't change. Thank you all very much for being here. Please like, subscribe, and share. We love bringing this information to you, and I don't want you to miss any. So, Like, subscribe, share, and I look forward to seeing you all in a couple of weeks. Be good.